Eruvin Daf Lamed 2 emails. One from Mordechai Ness. He says he loves the shir. It's a great shir. He loved the live demonstration. He'll never forget that sugya. Please keep them coming. And he wants to make a suggestion that we start the shir a few minutes earlier because it seems like Amud Beis is always rushed. Hashtag Amud Beis learning matters. Another email from Yankel Shepherd. He says, fantastic clear shir, dealing with hard technical sugya, brilliant pictures, diagram, making sure we all understand the concepts. He wants to know if we are related to the Stefansky from Switzerland. And he learned 35 years ago with a Bacher Stefansky. Yes, all Stefanskys are related, and they originate from Switzerland. Thank you, Yankel Shepherd. Thank you, Mordechai Ness. We're talking about a fascinating sugya where a person puts his eruv inside a basket and hangs it on a tree. We had one shot that the tree is not 4 tefachim, together with the basket it's 4 tefachim. Comes Rabbi Yirmiyah and says, no, the tree is 4 tefachim. But over here, we're going to make a new concept. We have a new concept. Since you could tilt a basket downwards on a hinge and bring it from Rosh Hashanah into Rosh Hashanah, you don't have to do it, but since you have the ability to do so, it's as if it's in the Rosh Hashanah, in the Rosh Hashanah, and it's a good eruv. Ask the Gemara, if we use this concept, you pretend as if you bring something from one area to the other, why is it on Yontif that falls out on Friday, and you're concerned that an animal is going to eat your eruv, so you stick with the eruv until Yontif comes in, it becomes dark, then you take the eruv back with you home, and the following day, right before Shabbos, you put the eruv right back, so that it should be chal for Shabbos as well. Why do you have to bring it back? Why don't you say hayel? Since you have the ability to bring it there, and eruv, every eruv is the same thing. Since you have the ability to bring it to the 2,000 amos, you don't have to bring it according to Rabbi Yirmiyah. You could. What's the difference if you bring it from Rosh Hashanah into Rosh Hashanah, or bring it from your house to the eruv? It's the same idea. You could. Says Reb Zera, the reason why we don't say so is because of like this year Rosh Hashanah, where Yontif falls out on Sunday, and you're not permitted on the first day to bring it home because the first day is Shabbos. So we made a gzeira that all eruvim you have to bring it physically to the place. Another very interesting case. What if a person wants to take up residence in the Rosh Hashanah and he puts his eruv in the wall? Well, it depends how high up. If he puts it lower than 10 tefachim, then it's a good eruv. And Rashi says throughout the whole sugi, we're talking about that the eruv is 4 amos away from him. Otherwise, you have Rav's concept that his residence takes up 4 amos and the eruv is in his rishus. It's outside of the 4 amos. And since he could reach it, halachically, it's a good eruv. But if it's above 10 tefachim, it's already in Rosh Hashanah, and he's in Rosh Hashanah, it's not a good eruv. Now, what about if he decides to take up residence on top of a birdhouse or on top of a closet? So now it's the exact opposite. Since he's right next to his eruv, there's no hefsek, he's not going over Rosh Hashanah, according to Rashi's second shot. So it's a good eruv. He's in the same rishus. He's up above. The eruv is up above. Above 10 tefachim, it's a good eruv. Below 10 tefachim, it's not a good eruv. Question is, according to Rabbi Yirmiyah, why don't we say tilt the box, tilt the birdhouse, and bring it into the Rosh Hashanah, just like you tilt a basket from Rosh Hashanah into Rosh Hashanah? Says the Gemara, either we're talking about a box or a birdhouse that's nailed into the wall, or says Rav, we're talking about a very tall closet that even if you tilt it, it's going to go out of your 4 amos domain. We learned in the Mishnah, if a person takes the eruv and puts it in a pit, even if the pit's 100 amos deep, it's a good eruv. We must say that we're talking about that the area surrounding the pit is a karmelis, which is a rishus d'Rabbanan. It's like a field, and therefore, according to Rebbe, since I could retrieve the eruv Shabbos ben hashmashas from the Rosh Hashanah of the bar into the karmelis, which is a rishus d'Rabbanan, it's only asim d'Rabbanan. We're not going around a shvus on a d'Rabbanan during ben hashmashas. It's a great eruv. But if, for instance, the area around the pit is Rosh Hashanah, of course it's a good eruv. And if the area around the pit is Rosh Hashanah, well, it depends. If he's inside the pit with the eruv, then he's in the same domain as the eruv, and it's great. But if he's outside of the pit, he's in Rosh Hashanah, and the eruv is in the Rosh Hashanah, then it's not a good eruv. Says the Mishnah, a new Mishnah, if you have a reed that's detached from the ground, and you stick it into the ground, and you put an eruv on top, let's say you make a platform that's 4x4, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that's not considered Rosh Hashanah because the bottom is not 4 tefachim, only the top is. And therefore, it's a good eruv, you can grab it. Now, our Mishnah, this part of the Mishnah, which happens to be the Seifa, it's the end of the previous Mishnah, must be going according to Chachamim. Since it says here that this reed is detached, Chachamim are the ones that say that it's usher to use an attached tree, ben hashmashas. Rebbe is of the opinion that you can. So it comes out very interesting. The beginning of the Mishnah is Rebbe, and the end of the Mishnah is Chachamim, which is very unusual. Ravina says no. The entire Mishnah goes according to Rebbe that you're allowed to do a malacha that's only midrabanan ben hashmashas. The reason why in this case the reed must be detached from the ground, because since it's so clear that if he uses this reed, he's most likely going to break it, and then he'll be over in the Issa rights of Kaitzer. We said he cannot use it for an Eruv, it must be detached. There's once a story where the army came into town, and Rav Nachman was concerned that there's not going to be any room in the Beis Medrash, so he told his Talmidim Erev Shabbos, go ahead and bend the reeds over so that we could use them as chairs on Shabbos. That is because he was discussing reeds that are soft. Reeds that are soft have a halach of vegetables, of bushes, and there's no Isser even the Rabbanon to use them on Shabbos. The whole Isser is a hard, tough tree, which Chachamim say that's also to use ben hashmashas. And that will also explain why it says in one brayso that kanim, which are reeds, atadim and higin, are considered a tree, and therefore there's no Isser of klei akarim. You could plant them in a vineyard. In the second brayso it says that kanim, kidim, and rubanim are considered vegetables, and it is a problem with klei akarim. So once again, there's a reed that's very soft, and that's like a vegetable. There's a reed that's tough and hard, that's like a tree. There's just a slight problem that says that kida is considered a vegetable. And over here we're saying that kida is a tree. Which one is it? So the Gemara says there's two types. One is a kida levana, and one is a regular kida, two different types. Says the Mishnah, what if you take the Eruv, you put it in a closet, you lock the door, and then the key gets lost? According to Tanakama, it's a good Eruv. According to Rebbe Lezer, it's not Eruv. So what we have here is three shittas really. Two in Rebbe Lezer. One shitta is the Tanakama that it's a good Eruv because you can break into it. One shot that we have today is it's made out of stone without any cement, so you can just remove it. According to Rebbe Meir, you can remove the stone, get into it, and that's only on Yantav, because on Yantav you don't have the issue of Muktzah. According to Rebbe Lezer, you cannot get into it, you can't break it. And there's another shita in Rebbe Lezer. So we have to explain our Mishnah that if he puts the Eruv in a closet, on Yantav it's good, on Shabbos it's not good. So we have to add these words in to make it flow. Now, what if you found the key? That's where we have two shittas in Rebbe Eliezer. If you found the key in the city, it's a good Eruv according to Rebbe Eliezer. Why? Because I can use the rooftops and jump from a roof to a backyard to a karfif. But if it's in the field, then it turns into a karmelis, and to go from a karmelis to Rosh Hashanah is usher according to Rabbanon, who say that during Ben Hashmashis you're not allowed to do it the Rabbanon. And the other shit in Rebbe Eliezer is that even if you find the key, it's never a good Eruv. Have a wonderful day.